Hello, thank you for joining me. It is July 4th, 2017. Happy Independence Day. And I just wanted to say a few points on this application called Snapchat. Basically, what Snapchat is, it's an application you can download on any tablet or phone, smartphone, and basically you can send videos, messages, pictures, just like you can on a regular messaging app. But what's special about Snapchat is that it has its main feature is the pictures, the messages, and the videos you can only view once. And there's a few exceptions to this. I mean, you can obviously take a screenshot, but if you do take a screenshot, it will let the person that sent that Snapchat to you, or picture, message, video, etc., it'll let that person know. And Snapchat was also the first application to introduce the stories feature. They also have that on Instagram and Facebook, but Snapchat was the first one to do it. It's basically, you take a picture or video, you post it to your story, which is basically, you'll have like a friends list of people you talk to on Snapchat. And it'll have a little circle with an image in it next to their name. And then if you click on that, it'll show their story. And it's basically just a compilation of 10-second videos showcasing what you're doing that day. And it stays there for like 24 hours. And an interesting thing that's come to light recently with Snapchat over the past couple years is they have this Discover tab. Now, what the Discover tab is, it's basically just a bunch of news, in quotes, news, and it just it's like CNN, for example. They have their own story that they post every day on Snapchat, which is a compilation of 10 or 15, short little video clips of news and stuff that's in the news. I'll show you an example here. So here you can see an example of the Discover tab in Snapchat. Basically has news sources: Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, CNN, ESPN, New York Times. Most of the popular sites. One thing that's interesting about it is that there are no conservative news outlets, like not a single one. I mean, I guess the Daily Mail has some, conservative views sometimes, but not really. I mean, they're just not usually fake news, I would say. But really what I find most interesting about it is the fact that, CNN, Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, they have all of these stories, right? But they don't have any sources cited usually. I'll show you an example here. All right, so here's an example of part of CNN's Snapchat story. It says, states defy Trump on voter request. At least 42 states are defying the White House's request for private voter information, according to a CNN inquiry. A presidential commission which Trump set up after claiming without evidence that, quote, millions voted illegally, is seeking voters' names, addresses, political parties, and the last 4 digits of their social security numbers. Okay, first of all, there is evidence to support his claims. I mean, you think he would just claim that without evidence? If, just shows how daft CNN thinks its readers are, especially the ones on Snapchat, because they're the only remote source that they can cite is a CNN inquiry. So CNN is literally citing themselves here. And if you're interested in this topic, I did a video on it, and you can find that on my channel. And also, a liberal voter fraud investigator by the name of Bev Harris, she actually did an interview with Alex Jones on his show shortly before the November 8th elections. And it's really eye-opening. I suggest you go watch that. But the point is, CNN blatantly telling the people who are viewing this Snapchat story that, these states are defying blah, 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 and the president has no evidence, and they cite no sources to this, which is amazing. Like, what has, mainstream news come to where they're not even citing sources anymore? It's frankly ridiculous. I mean, if I wrote a paper even in high school and I didn't cite any sources, I would get an F. I would fail. So CNN is failing the American people by spewing out this bullcrap. So here's another example I want to bring your attention to. Global warming could hurt America's poor while helping the rich. The poorest third of counties, many in the South and lower Midwest, could suffer huge economic losses toward the end of the 21st century. Northern and western regions could benefit in some instances, with longer growing seasons and lower energy costs for cold regions. Okay. So, I mean, this could very well be true. If, because climate change is happening. I mean, no one's denying that. But again, they're citing no sources. They are just blatantly making these claims with no sources. Nothing to back this up. They're just saying it, and they're hoping that whoever is reading this is stupid enough to just take their word for it. And I truly hope that most Americans realize that, these are the same people that told you that there was no way that Donald Trump would win the presidency for the United States. They said there was no way. They said it was impossible. They said it was not going to happen. And then they make claims like this and expect you just to believe it without even presenting any facts. I mean, this is basically just opinion pieces here on Snapchat. And it is utterly ridiculous. So here is a third and final example of another article, not really even an article, a short little tidbit from the Washington Post. I'll read it. Trump and Vatican show support for terminally ill British infant. Charlie Gard's case gained global attention after European courts ruled that he could be removed from life support against his parents' wishes. A judge said there was unanimity among the experts that experimental therapy could not repair structural brain damage and that it would be problematic to send Charlie to the U.S. Again, just furthering their narrative, I guess. I don't know what the point of this is. They're citing no sources. They're not even really even giving opinions on this. But I think this story really shows why universal healthcare is bad. If this happened in the US with our healthcare system right now, I mean, people would be wanting to help this child. The doctors would. And, from what I've heard about it, from Alex Jones, the Daily Wire, stuff like that, is that, these parents of this infant are offering to pay to fly their kid to the U.S. and fly to the U.S. to get the proper healthcare that the kid needs. I mean, basically what the United Kingdom's government is saying, that it's just not worth it. You could just have another baby. Like, life isn't precious enough to give this baby all the chances that it deserves. And it's just bad. But yet, this is another example of Snapchat news not citing sources, just giving you stuff and not even giving you the whole story. They're just, probably just reporting on this because they have to, because everyone else is reporting on this. I'm sure if they had it their way, they wouldn't even touch on this. So let me know what you think about this in the comments. And if you have children, whatnot, kids are using this, be sure at least let them know that, give them, appropriate news sources. It doesn't have to be anything conservative. Just point them towards articles that actually show sources, and let them know that, you can't trust something without a source, and there's always two sides to a story. And please just keep fighting the good fight. Alright guys, thank you for watching, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think about this, and have a happy rest of your 4th of July.